So let's talk about the latest flu outbreak. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is able to prevent, create, and experiment with people in America for different diseases, whether it's for military purposes to create new weapons or biochemical weapons or bioweapons or whatever. They have the ability to do that. We really don't truly know the full extent of what that organization is all about, but here's one thing we do know. Every year, the CDC recommends that folks get flu vaccinations. And for many years, a lot of people have. And for many years, we've been told that if you get yourself vaccinated against the flu, it will reduce or prevent you from having a severe strain of the flu because your body will build up these immunities against the flu virus. So then they inject you with the very viruses that they're supposed to be protecting you from, allegedly, so your body is building up these immune defenses. The truth is, though, your body will build up its own immunities if it does, in fact, get a virus naturally. Many people who have taken these flu shots for years find themselves getting sick when flu season comes. It is a bit suspicious that people who do not get flu shots and haven't got flu shots for years usually don't get sick during flu season. They may get a cold, but they don't get violently or severely sick. Think about it. Your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your great-grandfather, they didn't get flu shots every year, and most of them were just fine. If they did get sick, they used ginger herbs or other herbs and spices, and they made these little home remedies and wrapped themselves in blankets and quilts and things until they just sweat it out, and it worked. And even when many of you were children, you remember things like that. Here's the deal, though. Doctors have recently come out, a few of them anyway, and said, the folks who have been taking these flu shots for the past few years are the ones that are getting violently sick. And now some of them are even admitting that the flu vaccines do not work the way that they are represented. I wonder if the CDC and some of these doctors and the hospitals and these clinics and places are not really experimenting on American people to determine how these diseases can spread or how they can be controlled. Because that is the purpose of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, is to find out how these things work. How else can they better do it? Is to put something out there and see how fast it spreads. These flus started years ago affecting small pockets of population. Then each year or every couple of years, they get worse and worse. And now it's widespread throughout the whole nation. This severe strain that's killing people and even children. But yet, I heard on the news the other day that it's at its peak now, and in about 2 weeks or so, it will be gone. How can you control a disease that way that in 2 weeks, it will be gone and not affecting or making folks sick anymore? Unless there is a way to really control it. The same thing happened with Ebola. Ebola was this horrible disease that went worldwide, and it was killing folks, especially in certain nations. And then all of a sudden, it was gone. The bird flu, the same thing. We have to think about these things, but I'm just telling you, a lot of times when folks come to tell you what's good for you and inject these things into your body, you really don't know what you're injecting into your body or why, or what the ramifications will be. But I believe the doctors who are coming out now saying that the folks who have been taking these vaccines are at the greatest risk for getting sick. They're at the greatest risk of losing their lives if they develop these infections that now infect their lungs. Should think about that. And think about all of the years that your parents before you and your grandparents that didn't take those flu vaccines survived without them, and they did just fine.